WretroMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network is a Moonsault Media Production and is intended for private use only. For more information, contact retromaniapodcast@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Marking Out the Day's Extreme Watch-Alongs, presented to you by the WretroMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network. I'm one half of the hosting squad, Kobe Naida, and as always, I am joined here with the mayor of Kicking Out at 2, Dave Rosenbluth. I was trying to think of something catchy. Dave the whole effing show. Rosenbluth.
Interesting. I can get behind that. Dave the whole effing show.
Yes,
all
indeed,
right,
sir. You are the whole...
Well, I mean, I'm only... how about Dave's half the effing show? Because you're the other half.
Sure. Absolutely.
I gotta give you credit. You're my tag team partner.
Thank you. We are here, episode 6 of ECW Extreme Watch-Alongs, marking out the days. We are doing it here, February 4th, 1997. We like to queue up the Peacock and watch along and, kind of banter about what's going on, give you some side notes, and reflect nostalgically over this program, ECW, which is celebrating its 30th year when it was started, actually, in 2022, actually. It started in 1992, which is 30 years ago.
Really? It was 92?
Yeah. That's what a lot of people are establishing it as.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was 93, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think February 92 is what people are establishing that
Eastern Championship Wrestling, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think this, we've talked about it so much on the program. 1997 is a huge year for wrestling, an influential one, and especially ECW Hardcore TV. So watch along with us if you want to. We like to run it down. It's always fun. Evergreen content for your ear. Just sit back, enjoy the ride. And if you dig this podcast, you can like, rate, review, share, and subscribe it. You can find us on any podcasting platform by searching RetroMania with the W. And always you can write to us at retromaniagmail.com. Dave, kicking out at 2. We're still on the lam right now as we speak. If breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, we are. It's still on the lam. Hoping by next month that I can get things up and running as we prepare for WrestleMania. If not at the latest, I don't want. It'd be pointless for me to give dates at this point because as I've made promises that unfortunately I can't keep right now because of certain people that don't do their fucking job. But nonetheless, Kicking Out at 2 will be back on the WretroMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network very soon. Definitely before the end of 2022. If not, then there's a real problem.
Right on. Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you all for listening so much. So let's get this started. In this episode, we like to get started so we can just, dissect and divulge. You're going to find it on the Peacock, Season 5, Episode 6. It's February 4th, 1997. We're going to start it with the audio, though. This is a little special one from Paul Heyman. We're going to count down from 5, and then when we say play, you hit play with us. Dave, you ready?
I am ready. Let's do it, my man.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit play. Right on. Big words there from Paul Heyman. Always a master speaker.
The David Koresh of professional wrestling, right there, as Bubba Ray Dudley has once said. He knows how to get people going. He's one of the greatest talkers of all time, and it wouldn't be fitting if anybody else made that announcement other than him.
Absolutely. So, and he said that they were getting telegrams from the fans.
I mean, you know what? It's 97. I think those were still a thing back then, so it wouldn't surprise me. But then again, it's wrestling. They tend to overhype everything, Sold out from the rafters, on top, turned them away at the door. I had the strap. I was on top, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Paulie was just, working everybody with the telegram line. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was a real thing.
We got your carrier pigeons, too.
Let me tell you all something right now. There was a message in a bottle from a fan in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It came by sea, and it said, please give us an ECW pay-per-view called Barely Legal, April the 13th, 1997 on Request TV.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff there. And we're just seeing a montage on ECW right now is between Taz and Sabu, I'm sorry. Both of these guys inflicting damage on their opponents throughout the last year as we build up for this ultimate main event that's going to be on their first pay-per-view, Barely Legal.
Yeah.
Hyping it already in January, too.
Well, it reminds me of an old school build where there wasn't a pay-per-view every month, and they would announce things, at least the top matches for pay-per-views, months in advance. When the WWF had 4 pay-per-views, the big 4, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, sometimes, WrestleMania matches were made not long after the Rumble, and you had 2 to 3 months to build those matches on television, at least the top matches. Now, a lot of times there would be, other throwaway undercard matches that would be announced at the last minute with no build, and back then people wouldn't really give a shit. Nowadays, you throw a match on television or on pay-per-view with no build, the whole world's coming to an end. So, but this montage here with Taz and Sabu, I like it. I do remember 25 years ago when this, not this particular show, but when I was exposed to ECW and the build-up towards that pay-per-view, through their appearances on Monday Night Raw, I remember feeling like, even though I know that wrestling is make-believe and it's predetermined and choreographed and all that other stuff, I had this feeling that there was some legitimate beef between Sabu and Taz.
Yeah.
And that permeated through the television screen. And even watching back some of this right now with the vignettes and the build-up for it, you could feel like there was some legitimate issues with them, as we see, what's this, Ricky Morton, and holy cow, as a heel in ECW with the old stars and bars, the Confederate flag. I don't know who that scumbag was with him in the leather chaps, but probably some floozy that I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
No, I am not sure. Have to look that one up. Let me see real quick.
But Ricky Morton with that unacceptable ring attire for 2022, my goodness.
Oh my God, yeah. That would not stand right now. They'd have to burn him.
They wouldn't even make TV.
Yeah.
That certainly would not make TV, I'll tell you that.
And you spoke about
Unless
it before.
It's GCW.
Well, you spoke about it before. He's still going, and he made an appearance in GCW.
Yep.
Which he was pummeled by Matt Cardona, who is almost who's almost kind of in a way made a invasion angle. He's the sports entertainment guy coming to this hardcore area.
Well, I think he's marketed himself tremendously.
Yes.
Tremendously.
But that made me think of a question. Essentially, you know how ECW is about to invade, in our timeline, they're about to invade WWF on the 24th of this month, February.
Yes.
So what if WWF sent a sports entertainment guy over to ECW. Who would you have picked at this time in 1997 to be like the Matt Cardona or, comparison?
I like that.
As we see the Blue World Order
Probably,
here.
you know who I probably would have picked to kind of lead that charge? The Greenwich Blue Blood, Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Ooh. Okay.
What about you?
Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I was thinking like one of the mainstays for WWF, and I almost wanted to say Bret Hart would be good. He could have turned into a really good heel then, but I almost wanted to say Owen.
I think Owen would have been a nice fit. He had that kind of WWF sports entertainment polished look to him. I think because Bret was such a great wrestler, especially during that time in '97, I think that would have backfired, and the ECW audience would have taken a liking to him because he was such a technically skilled wrestler. If you put him in there with the likes of, I don't know, who was in ECW
Raven.
at that time? I mean, Van Dam even.
Oh yeah.
Guys like that, Candido, Lance Storm. I mean, people would have been clamoring to see, at least the ECW audience would have been clamoring to see, matches like that. But, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, maybe even, this is where Rocky Maivia could have earned his chops as a heel.
Good one. I like
realizing that if the company didn't realize that he was having issues getting over in general, sending him to ECW and seeing how that audience would react to him and him kind of developing a heel persona there, man, he would have been on fire out the gate for the remainder. He would have picked up a lot sooner than he did. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that would have been wild. I mean, what if Kurt Angle was crazy enough to have gone with ECW?
Yeah, that would have been interesting too, because he's also one of those guys that his wrestling style is respected by that ECW audience, despite the narrative of it being garbage wrestling. So,
well, because they always intertwine some pure wrestling in there, some pure wrestlers like Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho, and Eddie Guerrero. They cycled through there, but we don't have them at this period right now. I mean, the closest thing, I think, like you said, was RVD. And maybe, Taz. And, of course, Sabu. But Sabu, botches a lot. So he's innovative, but is he really one of those technical guys? No.
No, he's more of a, I guess you could say, like spot monkey.
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah. And speaking of Matt Cardona with GCW, he was there over the weekend defending the title against Joey Janela, and he came out to Sandman's music. The song Neverland or Enter Sandman from.
Yeah, I think it was a remix from another band. I think I saw something where he had. Thanked the certain band for the entrance music. It wasn't Metallica's version because those guys will sue you before the music gets done playing.
No, it was like an iteration of it, almost like WWE does with their dubbing over. But it was better. It was better. He came out with a flannel on, and on the back it said "Fuck Mick Foley."
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, I think Cardona has been, honestly, in 2021 and coming into this year in 2022 so early on, he's been killing it. He's been really marketing himself very well in the independent scene, pretty much writing his own check anywhere he goes. With this, very anti-hardcore, sport. He's essentially representing the machine of WWE as a sports entertainer, embracing that aspect of his persona, even though he's not with WWE, and embracing the backlash that Game Changer Wrestling audience has for him. I mean, he's done such a great job with it. He's one of those few guys who have been released from WWE, who has gone out and reinvented himself. And I wouldn't be surprised within a couple of years if WWE came knocking on his door and said, "We'd like to give you another shot in some form or fashion," because he's really done a great job of like I said, marketing, reinventing himself, getting himself noticed between his action figure line, the podcast, and the YouTube show he does, and now indies. He's pretty much a mainstay in GCW. He's a throwback to what Mick Foley was in '95.
I was just going to say that. Yep.
So I mean, he's done such a tremendous job. I mean, between the stuff with him and Nick Gage, and now with Joey Janela, you mentioned Ricky Morton, who we're watching here on the screen. The sky's the limit for him, I feel like. I really do. I mean, he's in Impact Wrestling right now. He had a brief little stint in AEW. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a call at one point. He's doing such a tremendous job. He's making himself more interesting now than he ever was in WWE. And I know people will criticize me for saying that because he was very popular in 2011 with that, Z True Long Island story. And John Cena and CM Punk really pushed for him to get a spot on TV. And he was on TV for a short period of time, but he's really and you know what the thing is? He's a fan.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's a hardcore wrestling fan that loves wrestling. He's similar age as I am, maybe even a few years younger, and he loves the business so much, and you could see that in everything he does on social media, on television, what have you. And I think he's going to blow up even more than he already has in the last year.
Absolutely, and Mick Foley made mention of that. He said, I would have done the same thing. He thinks that WWE had done him wrong. He reached for the brass ring, he grabbed it, and in return, they made everybody else a major player and not him. And he had to go independent. And he considers that the Drew McIntyre route. And what he says, he's completely reinvented himself, like you said. He's made himself a valuable asset. And if Mick Foley is part of that, that makes him happy. And in conclusion, fuck Matt Cardona, which was pretty cool. I like that interaction between those two. And honestly, I've become a fan of Matt Cardona. Wasn't always the biggest fan, but sometimes when these guys are isolated and they come up with their own creative, much a la ECW, you have the freedom to branch out more and become yourself, Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he didn't spend a whole lot of time on TV, but he's done a great job of making a life after WWE.
Absolutely. Wow. Nice super kick there.
Yeah.
And that was actually a pretty decent match. As we were talking over, not going to call it shot for shot, or call for call, but I will ask you to do me a favor once an upcoming match comes up. We can kind of go back and forth. Any news?
Oh yeah.
Any news from you on your end from the Wrestling Observer at this time in February?
Let me take a look because I do have some notes. As a matter of fact, I think I do. Yes, I do have some notes here. Let me see. Let me take a look. Let me find a good story. Michinoku Pro Wrestlers Tajiri and Taka Michinoku are going to be working some shows for EMLL in Mexico. Several of them are also booked on upcoming ECW shows. Right. Speaking of Mexico, the WWF is sending the fake Razor Ramon, fake Diesel, and Jake the Snake Roberts to work a AAA show in Mexico as part of the working agreement between the two companies. As we talked about earlier, on an earlier episode, the WWF and AAA are working together in promotion with the Royal Rumble. And here is the vanilla Shane Douglas with the bowling championship belt and the cocktail waitress Francine on the left-hand side.
It's all at the same establishment.
Yep, they're all working. They're all wrestling at Bolorama right now. Trying to see what else. Miss Texas, later to be known as Jacqueline, quit the USWA and debuted on Nitro this week, getting involved in the Chris Benoit, Nancy Sullivan, and Kevin Sullivan storyline.
Ooh, Yeah, that was interesting. That's breaking the fourth wall too.
Speaking of breaking the fourth wall, Tito Santana and his wife Leah have opened up a beauty salon in New Jersey.
Oh,
Santana is also working on becoming a full-time teacher and currently works as a substitute physical education teacher.
That's the Where Are They Now of 1997 for
Yes.
for the flying jalapeno. Good thing they didn't open up a taco stand. Pretty much Shane Douglas
The
talking.
Flying Burrito Boutique.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane Douglas talking his same boring shit here. Macho Man, didn't he re-signed with WCW?
Yes.
$1 million.
A WCW contract for $1 million per year. They justified the huge deal because without Savage, they would have lost the Slim Jim sponsorship, which brings in $500,000 a year to WCW. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall both have clauses in their contract that no one can be paid more than them. So when Savage signed his new deal, both Hall and Nash were given raises to $1 million a year. Both men started out at $780 a year, less than a year prior.
And there you go. That's that famous stipulation that they have in their contract.
Favored Nations, I believe it's called.
Yes, it is. Yep. And here you go. Here's the favor I was going to ask you. Can you call this as Jim Ross as your boy, Steve Williams?
My boy Doc, that's right. We got Dr. Death here from Oklahoma, former UWF World Heavyweight Champion, Oklahoma linebacker. He didn't study a whole lot in college, but he played a whole lot of ball, drank a lot of beer, and fucked a lot of broads as he's getting in the ring right now with some hot topic employee of the month over here, Axel Rotten. Looks like that t-shirt hadn't been washed since quarter to never. And then he's got some flannel underwears on right now. I don't know what the hell that piece of business is, but my boy Doc, he's going to be laying them in pretty stiff, pretty hard, if you will. He's going to gut and quarter Axel Rotten every day of the week, twice on Sunday in Scranton, Pennsylvania, if you will. Slobberknocker.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
I'll continue if you like.
What are your thoughts on Steve Williams? A fan? Obviously.
As JR or as myself?
You could do yourself as JR if you'd like.
Well, I liked, Doc, I didn't have an appreciation for him when I was younger, okay? But as I've gotten older, appreciated his work more, the stuff he did with Terry Gordy, Miracle Violence Connection, was some pretty good stuff, very hard-hitting team. Their matches with the Steiners in WCW in the 90s, 92, with some really good physical wrestling. I was really hoping that Doc was going to get a solid run in the WWF, and unfortunately, we didn't get to see that the following year. He was just kind of, that loss in the brawl for all really hurt his stock.
Yeah.
Doc's stock went down. But watching some of his older stuff, physical, very physical in the ring. Legit tough as nails. His matches were believable. I feel like, though, he's one of those guys that probably could have used a manager.
Oh.
He was in the varsity club in the NWA in the late 80s, and with Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotundo, and that wasn't a bad little setup there. But I feel like Doc, if he was presented as this legitimate badass and someone was a mouthpiece for him, I think he could have done pretty well for himself. I'm not saying he'd have been the world champion, but I think he would. I think he would have succeeded at least in the landscape of WCW. If let's say he had a Harley Race as his manager,
Yeah.
or even a Kevin Sullivan managing him, those guys, Paulie Dangerously, another, names like that.
I could have definitely seen him in the Dangerous Alliance at the time of 1992 if they would have went that route. But yeah, big tag team guy, got a lot of exposure with the Miracle Violence Connection. And then in All Japan, I'm able to see a lot of those All Japan matches. I've watched a lot going back, and man, he's a hoss there. He's great, and he was a mainstay for a long time in in All Japan, where he becomes this huge star over there, and then makes this brief appearance here in ECW before ultimately going to WWF.
That's interesting. Here it looks like he's going to have words with Raven. Maybe a future showdown between the two.
Oh, possibly. You're in my squared circle. You want to take my belt, you take it. Oh, shit.
Interesting.
We're going to get a match here.
Maybe we are. Oh. Double leg takedown. Doc, House of Fire. Fist and piston right hands. Raven, House of Fire. Oh, my God. Doc's putting it on Raven. He's hitting them hard. Them hard shots right there. Another right hand. And another. And another. And another. And a fifth one. And he's going to Irish whip him into the corner. Good God. Oh, my God. Doc took eating a turnbuckle to the jaw area, courtesy of Raven ducking. And what the hell's that little jewelry salesman doing with a microphone on the floor over there? Todd Gordon, son of a bitch. Oh, my God. He's busted open. I think so. I don't know. Maybe. He's going to have to be. Raven's got the chair. He's going to... Jesus, God almighty. He just nailed him. Son of a bitch.
The referee has made this official. So, I mean, it's much like
Somebody ring the goddamn bell! Do you have no heart? Do you have no soul? You son of a bitch! What are you doing to my Doc?
I don't know if Doc bladed himself. He didn't blade himself there.
Oh, Jesus! The human anatomy is not made to take that kind of punishment.
There we go. There's another
Whipping him
blade
like
job.
a government mule.
There's another
Taking him
blade
to the
job.
woodshed. He's running like a scalded dog.
Raven's a strong champion at the time. Oh, and Raven is classically one of those anti-hero like champions. He's not really a face. He's not really a heel. You know.
He's in between.
Yeah. Which is good. Which is good for him to have a lot of challengers. Which I'm surprised I've never seen this match or heard of this.
Yeah, same here. This is the beauty of watching this for the first time.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Oh, man. And these are one of those stiff tables. I think they still gimmicked them.
Not so stiff anymore. Look at that.
Oh. Yeah. Good stuff there. I guess he can blade, too, if he'd like. Yeah, this is how... essentially,
some yahoo on his couch spilling the beer says, well, they know how to fall.
Tell me, how do you learn that? How do you learn how to fall? Yeah.
It's like payday in Muskogee on a Saturday night.
GCW is essentially just ECW rebirth with more extreme stuff, more stupid stunts. There was a ladder match that I was able to watch from the event, and some guys took some really bad bumps off there. Like, you can't jump off of the top of the ladder. Like, you know, like you can't fit both of your feet unless it's one of those WWE ladders. And they're using these like cheap Home Depot ladders, and it was awful.
Yeah, I saw some of the. Yeah, they used the real flimsy ladders. They didn't really gimmick them. I heard that ladder match was a shit show.
It
was completely.
It was. Yep, a lot of people falling, not nailing moves, and it just like nobody knew what to do. Yeah, a lot of miscommunication. Fun stuff, but luckily that was the first match, I guess. I was about to get on to the Matt Cardona match because I was interested in seeing it, but I didn't have time. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught bits and pieces of you know, I think the Cardona match had a run-in from Virgil, X-Pac, Brian Myers, Hornswoggle. So there was like groups of guys that got involved in the match.
A litany of characters from the WWE.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God. He's a Crimson Mask.
It's a bloodbath between these two.
Raven and Doc, they're just giving it their all. Bleeding like a stuck pig right here. clothesline by Doc. He's going to go for another one. That's 2 right there. Oh, he's got one more in him, does he? He ducks. Raven going for the German. Oh, Doc reversed with an elbow. Another German. Jeez almighty on his head. Doc just planting Raven in the canvas. These guys are giving you a hell of a match.
Yeah, absolutely, they are. I'm pretty impressed with this. I wonder if there's going to be a schmoz, though, like normal ECW. Get a cover.
Yeah,
there.
maybe we'll see like BWO or Sandman come in. Honestly, I really don't know because I've never seen this match before. Didn't read the reviews like some people I know, but
yeah, John Finnegan here.
That totally went over your head. That's okay.
Hey, I wasn't reading the reviews. I'm looking at the
I know. I'm just messing with you. Damn. These jokes just don't translate real well, folks, between technology. It's got to be an in-person thing, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to have to one of these days do a live one together. I don't know when that's going to be. We're trying to make it happen in 2022.
We should.
But, we should. We'll see. We'll see if we can come up with something.
The pandemic has hindered us.
For all 57 of you that listen, we appreciate it. So
thank you all so much.
Doc climbing to the top, but Raven catches him off at the pass. Right hand, staggering Doc, another right. Jesus, he's out on Queer Street. Oh, Doc's fighting back. Raven up the top. Jesus, it's a dog fight, I tell you. God damn it. Headbutts. Oh my God, the physicality. You don't see this anywhere else but on ECW. Superplex off the second rope by Raven. Good God almighty. The hat guy's clapping, so he must approve of this match here tonight. Jesus.
He should. And there we go, the famous Raven pose. Uh-oh. Somebody's coming out. There's music.
Oh, I told you, it's a BWO invasion.
And a kid. Who the
hell? They brought Lori Follington and her son.
Oh, boy. Here we go. The continued story between Sandman and Raven.
Yep, now the BWO has taken over. The Lori Follington and the kid. So now Big Stevie Cool's got some of Sandman's wife. Oh, that was an ugly clothesline by Doc.
Ooh.
Good God almighty, that's the only ugly thing he's done this whole match. Everything else has been great because he's from Oklahoma, goddammit. Power press slam, Raven over the top. Jesus, onto the BWO, the Blue Meanie, and Nova taking the hit. Now we got Big Stevie Cool waiting in the ring. Is he going to kick Doc? He better not with his short shorts.
That looked rough, by the way.
Yes.
Rough landing.
Is he gonna give him the shirt? Is he gonna give him the shirt off his back? Does anything even fit Doc? Good Lord. Please, Doc, don't do it. God damn it, don't do it. You're gonna ruin your career. You put that shirt. Oh my God, thank the Lord. Doc's not BWO for life, but he just had a super kick by Big Stevie Cool. The humanity. Oh wait, he got back up. He's no selling that son of a bitch. Good God, you just angered the monster there, Stevie. Go for it again. See what happens. Go for it. Tune up the band. You ain't gonna hit it. Oh, he got him again. Is it done? Is he finished? No, he is not finished. Doc is not finished.
Wow.
Nowhere near done. Good God almighty. Tongue out, ready to go. Big Stevie with another kick. Is he gonna go for it? You better pull up your britches, son, if you're going to get him. You better make it count because the first two didn't. Sweet chin music, right? No! Oh, he stopped him. Block. Close on the duck. Another kick by Big Stevie Cool. Raven coming in for the cover. Where's the referee? Nope. He's not going to cover. He's going to even throw DDT. And now we got the cover. 1, 2, 3. And goddamn it, Raven and the BWO just screwed the Doc.
Wow, yeah. BWO coming to the aid of Raven, I don't know, intentionally or unintentionally, both times in the last 2 weeks that we've seen. Raven, still the champion there. Oh, wow. Some impressive stuff, though, by Doc. Honestly, Steve Williams, impressive at the time. Not a bad match between those two.
No, this is a pleasant surprise. This was a pleasant surprise. I'll be honest with you. Now we're going to get an extreme replay here. A highlight, if you will. You would think you're watching Monday Night Raw for 3 hours right now, watching this replay. This is all they do is they replay everything.
Yeah, I liked how Stevie, when he was hitting the super kicks, he was like charging his foot up, and he did it like even faster and faster, like a jackrabbit. That was pretty good. Adding the comedy in there.
Yeah, I had to. I just had to.
Yeah.
My throat hurts now, but I managed to, Oh, Devon Dudley in the house. Big Devon with the tie-dye and the overalls. What are we expecting here?
Not sure.
He's waiting for someone. Is it Bubba? Is it Sandman? Is it Balls Mahoney? Is it New Jack? Is it an Eliminator? Is it Spike Dudley? Would you show someone on the fucking screen, goddammit, other than Devon? Christ's sakes. We're trying to do a watch-along podcast here. You would think that the fucking Peacock knew what we were doing.
This has been a match-heavy episode, though. Not too many promos backstage, besides the primer at the beginning for the pay-per-view upcoming. Oh, it's Sandman.
Okay.
Good shit. Speaking of him earlier, he's back with that iconic music. And GCW has a GCFNW shirt, just like that guy in the background, which was a very popular shirt at the time. Did you have any ECW merch at all as a kid?
No, I did not. I was not. I did not have any ECW merchandise. Little known fact: the one ECW show I went to in Hartford, Connecticut, in June of '99. There wasn't much of a merchandise stand to begin with, not because they didn't have the available merchandise there for you, but Taz and Tajiri pretty much destroyed the merchandise table area during their Falls Count Anywhere match. So if I wanted a T-shirt, I probably would have had to have picked one up off the floor because they absolutely massacred the merchandise area.
Wow. How was that experience with being live at ECW?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I'd never experienced it live. I saw some stuff in the magazines, caught a little bit of it on TV when I could, but it wasn't anything that it was everything. I didn't expect what I got. Like, I might have told this story on the prior podcast before, but I got to witness I became a fan of the Dudley Boys after that night.
Okay.
Because of their hardcore, raunchy promos they'd cut for the audience. I mean, I saw a guy that practically wanted to jump over the guardrail and kill Bubba Ray Dudley because he called his girlfriend fat. And it was awful. I mean, to the point where we left that show that night and the wrestlers were parked in the same parking lot. It was at like an old armory building. And they were parked in the same parking lot as the rest of the fans. And there were people waiting outside, like, surrounding the car. Like, we watched Bubba and Devon get in the car with, like, Joel Gertner, and they had to, like, they didn't get physical, but it was pretty tense. I'll just say that.
Wow. So absolutely different from going.
The heat was real.
Absolutely different from going to a WWF or WCW, the type of environment, right?
Correct. Oh, very different. Very different.
Especially just even being in Philly.
Yeah. I mean, this was the first time I think they ever ran Connecticut at that time. So I remember knowing that they were in town when I went to a Monday Night Raw in Hartford a few months prior, and someone was passing out flyers in the lobby of the arena that had ECW on it. And a buddy of mine from high school at last minute was like, "Want to go see that ECW show? I'm going to go get tickets." And he bought tickets, and we had the time of our life. It was a lot of fun.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Dudley Boys, Devon here hammering away on the Sandman. What were your thoughts, or how do you hold the Dudley Boys as considered like in greatest of tag teams? Like, what do you consider them in the ranking? Where would you hold them?
When I think of the Dudley Boys, there's two things that I take away from them. Number one, in ECW, as a tag team in the late 90s, they were a main event act, which was very rare during that time period. They were a tag team. Now, there wasn't that many tag teams in ECW. You know, you had a few. You had a lot of hodgepodge teams that were thrown together, you know, but the Dudley Boys were the true glue to the tag team division in ECW, and they still managed to be a main event act. You know, feuding with the likes of Tommy Dreamer, Sandman. They main evented a few pay-per-views. Bubba main evented a pay-per-view with Taz once in a singles match. So you have that, and then, of course, you have the stuff they did with Edge and Christian and the Hardys in the TLC matches that really solidifies their legacy as a tag team. In years to follow, people have claimed that because they've won so many titles that they're better than the Road Warriors, and I still think the Road Warriors are the greatest tag team of all time. I would put the Dudleys in like a top 10, maybe even a top 15 of tag teams in what they've accomplished. But they don't go anywhere near the top 5. I'll say that. They certainly don't go anywhere near the top 5 of the impact that tag teams had. The Road Warriors are number 1, and everybody else is fighting for fucking second place and on down the line. Oh, yeah. That's just how I feel. They're good. I mean, they brought a lot to their presentation. They evolved, but I don't consider them to be. So what? They won the TNA tag titles. So what? They won titles in Japan. They won the WCW tag team titles under the WWF banner. Big fucking deal. You know? I look at their work, their body of work is what they did in ECW and the TLC stuff with Edge and Christian and the Hardys. I really do.
I think they had some moments in Impact Wrestling and TNA. They had some moments, but nothing like we would see at this point or furthering on in ECW and going forward in WWF into WWE. Especially those innovative matches, the table, ladders, and chairs matches, which, you know, for WWF was the first. And for them, they had been through so many battles at that time. Would you have liked to have seen them go against Road Warriors in 1997? That would have been cool.
Yeah, I would have been for that. I would have definitely been for that. I think, honestly, maybe it would have been beneath the Road Warriors at that time.
That was my fault.
It would have been kind of cool to see the Road Warriors come into ECW when they were doing that, you know, when they were working together, that working relationship.
Yep.
Road Warriors and the Dudleys in like some kind of like, you know, Philadelphia street fight of some kind, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I would have gotten behind that.
Yeah, I mean, we get to see the Road Warriors in a Chicago street fight, you know, coming up in WrestleMania. So, like, I would have liked to have seen the Dudleys and the Road Warriors at this time, Legion of Doom, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're talking, you would like to have seen them at WrestleMania, or just...
No, in like a match, like you say, like showing up in ECW. I'm just saying that Road Warriors were getting physical in a no DQ type match, like a street fight in this timeline, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at WrestleMania 13, they have the Chicago street fight, correct?
Yes, they did. Yeah. They teamed with Ahmed Johnson against the Nation, which was, people will say, oh, it was a garbage match, but it was a fun little, you know, 15-minute whatever, you know.
I mean,
it wasn't anything special, but it was still fun.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, sometimes I criticize hardcore wrestling because I like technical wrestling more, but, you know, hardcore wrestling can be fun.
Yeah, depending on the story, depending on who's involved, I mean, you know, it could definitely, there's definitely has its moments where it's fun.
Absolutely. As we see Sandman beating the piss out of Devon right now. We spoke about Bubba Ray last time where he made his comments against Jon Moxley. What are your thoughts on Bubba Ray as a singles competitor? Were you ever able to witness that in Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, I like the Bully Ray character. I'm one of the very few people that actually enjoyed the Aces and Eights storyline where he eventually became the leader. I thought it was a role that suited him very well, and I mean, I thought, and, you know, I had heard a rumor that when the Dudleys had returned to the WWE, that they eventually wanted to do something similar with Bubba in a singles, in a Bully Ray type character, but it obviously wasn't going to be Bully Ray, and unfortunately, it didn't work out, and they decided to go against it and not you know, do the angle. But I really enjoyed his singles run in TNA and in Impact Wrestling. I think it was, I think we really got to see his range,
yeah,
as a performer.
I really would have liked. I really would have liked to have seen him in WWE as that singles run. He did it again in ROH, and it wasn't bad either. Where he had a feud with Flip Gordon, and put Flip over a couple times in some hardcore matches, and then some just straight up matches. And he always plays a good heel, you know, can definitely get under people's skin, and he's got some good acting skills. He showed that with the Aces and Eights storyline, like you say, and like he can hold some main events. The match that he had with Sting in Impact Wrestling or TNA, that's a great match.
You talking about the title match at Slammiversary where they like remove the mat and he like pile drove? Yeah, I just watched that a couple months ago actually on the Impact app. Nice. Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, it's a great match. Even the match that he has with AJ Styles, that's not bad.
Oh, wait a minute. I think this is where I talked about this last week. I think this is where Bubba turns and him and Devon become a team.
Oh shit.
Yep.
We're about to witness it.
This is it.
Wow.
So Bubba and Spike, I guess, were, you know, allies, and then Bubba and Devon eventually became a team. This is how they formed their team, right here. This is the beginning of the Dudley Boys tag team, right here. I didn't even realize this was it. This is pretty cool.
That's very cool. We're witnessing a lot of firsts on this episode. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, Spike not taking a liking to it, so they're gonna treat him like the redheaded stepchild, even though he's blonde. Even though he's the Kurt Cobain of the group.
Oh. Oh man, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does look like, you know,
man,
Kurt Cobain at wrestling tryouts.
He was a guy that took a hell of a lot of bumps, man.
Yeah, he's another one I wouldn't be surprised if you hear of if he's got like CTE issues. Oh my god, that was. That 3D was uncomfortable.
Jesus Christ! I always liked the 3D. I always thought that was an amazing move. I guess was that the first iteration that we see of the 3D? It's
maybe that must be.
Oh, they did say on commentary. It said it was the Bubba Cutter, a variation of the Bubba Cutter. So I guess.
Oh, okay, but then it became the 3D, and now we see the gangsters.
Oh shit!
New Jack and Mustafa.
It's on.
Not Ali.
No.
In the ring.
Not Mustafa Ali at all. They brought everything, including the kitchen sink.
Including the kitchen sink. That's right.
Wow. So I guess they could start a little pop-up shop here if they wanted to. Hardcore hot dogs.
Oh boy. Oof. That sounds like the name of a porn. Hardcore hot dogs. Starring Francine.
Right, Francine, Mustafa Ali, New Jack Off.
Big Dick Dudley.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Wow. Huge rivalry already starting off. I mean, the creation of this tag team, and then another tag team just comes out. ECW making it exciting, as always, for the fans.
Yeah. As we're near the closing moments of this episode. Looks like we're going to be ending with with this brawl here and the creation of the Dudleys. This has actually been so far. This has been my favorite episode we've done. Absolutely. Because we got to see some firsts. We got to see my boy Doc and Raven in a pretty good match, and then we got to see the formation of Bubba and Devon as the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for our listeners, we didn't recap the show before we watched it. We're watching this, cold turkey First time with all of you that are listening. Hopefully you're all watching with us. If you're not, you should be. But yeah, we didn't know that this was going to be happening either. But Bubba and Devon right there, the formation of the Dudley Boys as we close out this episode of ECW Hardcore TV from February the 4th, 1997. Thank you all so very much for tuning in, being a part of it with us. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Check back each and every week. We'll have another episode next week as we cover February the 11th, 1997, ECW Hardcore TV. You can find all the links in the archives at the WretroMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network on Podbean by searching WretroMania with a W. You can find all the great shows there, like Season 1 of Marking Out the Days. We cover WCW Saturday Night versus WWF Superstars from 1992. My show, Kicking Out at 2, which will eventually be back on the airways at some point. Mark, what else we got? Gaijin Wrestling Radio, Hulkamania is Dead, Cool Truth with AC, Origins of Attitude, other great bonus content, and so much more, all over at the WretroMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.